All right, so let's sort of recap what we have learned, and I also want to then sort of show you where we're going to be moving next. So we've basically been talking about surface area. Now, in this chapter, there are two different shapes that we will be looking at. If you're thinking of sort of that larger umbrella of shapes, we're talking about prisms, and we're going to start talking about pyramids today. So we have been talking about what's known as prisms. And then today our focus is sort of shifting onto pyramids. And I want to talk briefly about how these are different. So we've been talking about prisms. How do I find the surface area of a prism? Now, a prism, basically, you think of a shape and so for instance, a rectangle, and a prism has two bases that are that shape. So two bases that are the same shape. And those two shapes are connected all by parallel lines. Connected by parallel lines. And how you know something is a prism is that you basically can flip it. You can flip it over and lay it flat. So just kind of like your textbook, if I were to have this textbook, which is a rectangular prism, if I have it this way, I can flip it over and I can still lay it flat because those two bases are going to be the same. So for an example, we were working a lot with rectangular prisms. And so what this means, so our first one was a rectangular prism. And basically what this was, so I have my two different bases. In this case, it's telling me it's a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw two different rectangles. And they should be the same exact size. And then I connect all of the corresponding vertices with parallel lines. So here I have my rectangular prism. And every single rectangular prism has 6 faces. Meaning there are 6 different sides of my rectangular prism. So then we started talking about, well, what about a triangular prism? And here I'm going to do the same thing. A prism is 2 bases that are the same shape. So this case is telling me it's a triangular prism. So I'm going to draw 2 triangles. And these 2 triangles will be the same size and they're connected by parallel lines, vertice to vertice. So here's an example of a triangular prism. And every single triangular prism is going to have 5 faces. So when I'm asked to find the surface area of a rectangular prism, I know that I'm finding 6 different areas to add up. When I'm asked to find the surface area of a triangular prism, I know I have 5 faces to add up. I can also think about this as the 2 triangle faces, the 2 triangles, plus I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 sides. And that gives me 5 total faces. So now let's get into what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about pyramids. How can I find the surface area of pyramids? Pyramids have only one base, which can be any shape. And instead of having 2 bases connected by parallel lines, a pyramid is going to have, this has with all the edges going to the same point. So if I were to flip it over, if flipped over, it'll be on that tip. It won't balance. It's not the same. It won't lay the same. So a pyramid, if you think of like the Egyptian pyramids, you know that, okay, that often we think of triangles or something pointy at the top, which is very similar. So the first one that we're learning about today, this is going to be a square pyramid, what's known as a square All right, sorry, my last video cut out, but basically today we're learning about a square pyramid. So I'm talking about a pyramid, meaning it's one base. So in this case, my base, you can go ahead and draw a square. And then what I do is I know it's a pyramid, so I take, there's my pyramid point, is what I call it. Where's my pyramid point? And I connect that period point with straight lines to all of my vertices, all of those points. And there I have my square pyramid. I know that my base is going to be a square. And if I'm thinking about, well, how many faces are going to be in a square pyramid? Well, I know I have my bottom base. And then since this is a square has 4 sides. And every single side of my square has a side going up to my point. So that's 4 sides going around plus the bottom side, which is my base. So four sides plus 1 square base is equal to 5 faces. So a square pyramid has 5 faces. And then what we're going to learn about tomorrow is our last surface area shape, which is a triangular pyramid, which, you've probably guessed it, is going to start with a triangle. My base is now a triangle, so I draw a triangle. I'm talking about a pyramid, so there's my pyramid point, and then I connect that point to all of the different vertices of my base. So now I have a triangle with 3 sides going up to my point. So I know that now I have how many sides are around. Well, a triangle only has 3 different sides. So if I have 3 different sides going up plus 1 base, 3 sides plus 1 base, I know that a triangular pyramid is going to have 4 faces. And the only difference here is, well, for a square pyramid, all of these triangular sides are going to be the same triangle. So really you can remember the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. That's a triangle, area of a triangle. And there's 4 of them. So really you can take the area of one and multiply it by 4. Same thing here, but you're only going to be multiplying it. You have 3 triangles on each side. Plus you'll have a triangular base. So just be very careful when you're calculating these, but this is sort of an overview of the 4 different shapes that you'll be required to find surface area as we move forward. Okay, I don't know how to stop. I'm trying to figure out how to stop. Oh, there it is.